You ever had a day where the weights feel really heavy and your motivation is really low? You're not sure how to tell if it's just a mental block or if your body's saying, hey, not today. You could be experiencing some fatigue. So, this is where I would encourage you to start to reflect because fatigue can show up in three places. It can show up in your sleep, it can show up in your mood and your motivation, and it can show up in something like soreness and joint sensitivity. So, even if you are fatigued, that doesn't necessarily mean that your body is going to acquire the quality of sleep that you need in order to recover from that. And a lot of people, when they are overtraining, tend to find that they're having some sort of sleep disturbances, which means that this sort of cycle is perpetuating itself, right? You're not getting better because you're not sleeping, and you're not sleeping because you're not getting better. So we can kind of see the road that goes down. So that could potentially be a signal that it's not just a mental block, and it's your body's way of telling you, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit. In terms of your mood and your motivation, some people who are fatigued, you might find them to be super, super grumpy. I don't know, there's a slew of variables that contribute to this, but I don't know if you've ever chatted with someone who's a power lifter, in the peak of their prep. They're fatigued and they're tired, purposefully so, because we're putting that strain on them to recover from so that they can then subsequently perform. But that strain can show up in your mood and your motivation. It can kill your motivation because you're just super tired and your body is doing all that it can to just survive and make it through the day and keep you functioning at the very basic level of life. So that could be a signal that your body's like, hey, let's pump the brakes. If your mood or your motivation to train is typically lower than usual, I usually find that people who aren't overtraining in peak of powerlifting are not, getting that superb decrease in motivation because they do have that event in front of them that should be kind of sparking their motivation and their, will to go and compete. Thirdly, we have soreness and joint sensitivity. So if you are experiencing excessive joint sensitivity or excessive soreness after training sessions, during training sessions that might not, have previously caused the same amount of soreness, that is a sign that your body might be telling you to pump the brakes. But if you reflect and you say all of these things and you go through and you say, well, I'm not having any severe sleep disturbances or any hints of sleep disturbances, so we're okay there. My mood and motivation has been just fine. Typically, this is like the first day in a while that I'm feeling a little bit of a low motivation to train. And then there's soreness and joint sensitivity. If you're feeling that across a chronic period of time, or if you're not, if it's just a little bit of soreness, knowing that you're putting in some high effort and more work than you have before, we can kind of anticipate that. So that's why we reflect. There's not a whole lot of objective measures that we can place on these. Unfortunately, it's a lot of subjectivity, but this is a way that you can go back and you can kind of look and implement a process into making the decision whether or not this is more of a mental block or if, hey, like this is really my body signaling to me you should probably pump the brakes and slow down a little bit. And to keep track of that, I use a simple traffic light system. Red, yellow, green. Red means stop. Maybe we dig further in. Yellow means slow down. Maybe we just become more aware of the variables and what's happening. And green means go, 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 right? So something as simple as that, you can track and see the trends and the changes over time. So if your sleep is red, 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 hey, there's something that's like, telling you, kind of screaming at you as an alarm to, hey, check this out. Maybe we're, doing a little bit of overtraining or need to find some way to kind of shuffle otherwise. And for those of you hardos who are like, no days off, listening to your body does not mean you're being soft. It means you're being strategic. You're not trading one good session for 3 bad ones. That's a horrible trade. That is not a favorable trade for you. A favorable trade for you is to hit one mediocre day and trade it for a couple good days in the future so that you set yourself up for success. And if you want to start setting yourself up for success in the future, our coaching can help you with that. Click the link in the bio below to sign up and apply for one-on-one coaching so that we can help you strategize your training, your nutrition, and your lifestyle to get stronger and live better.